Hey there, Michelle. How's it going today?
Good, Lindsay. Good. Lindsay, do you have a favorite brand for anything?
Yeah, I'm not a huge brand person, but I have finally found a brand of shoes that I think are stylish and
Oh,
fit me well and are comfortable and are not like crazy expensive. So
what
the
it?
brand is called Taos, Taos. And that's why I
Oh,
order my cute little sneakers. I'm a sneaker
oh,
girl. It's very on brand for me to
yes,
wear like sneakers, a pair of
very on
jeans. And
brand.
when I go to like conferences, I'll wear a blazer and jeans and sneakers, like clean sneakers. That
Yeah,
look I
yeah.
like. So I found my sneaker brand.
Okay, I'm gonna have to take a look at those. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't let's see. Well, my favorite shoe brand is Birkenstock.
Oh,
I
yes.
love Birkenstocks, but
Okay.
for sneakers, I like a Nike. I do. I
Okay.
don't have
Okay.
very many shoes, but I
Yeah.
do right now. I've been wearing the same pair of Nikes around for the past few months, and I'm also
Interesting.
most comfortable in sneakers or Birks.
Yeah, sneakers are the best. I mean, if you can live your life in your sneakers, I feel like you're doing great, you know? But for me,
Exactly.
Nikes kind of run a little narrow, so I struggle with Nikes and Converse.
Ah,
But
interesting.
anyways, so
So today we're going to talk about a really fun expression that has become very trendy in the past several years, and we said
mhm.
it, we threw it out there. And Lindsay, what is it?
Yes, the phrase of the day is on brand. And we're not just talking about brands. We're not going to sit here for
No.
15 minutes and talk about Nike. No, we're going to talk about something more interesting, how you guys can describe each other, describe yourselves, and connect. But first, Michelle, we're going to ask our listeners to do what? What is the key action that they should do right
All
now?
right.
Mhm.
Well, first, hit the follow button if you haven't yet. Wherever you are listening to All Ears English, let us come to you. Make it easy. Never miss an episode. And
Yes.
also, guys, we've been doing these really fun polls on Spotify where for every episode you get a poll along with it if you're listening on Spotify and you can answer the poll. And on some very special ones, we do share the results. So we love to
Mhm.
see what you guys are saying. We do look at them, and it's a really great way to interact with us as well. So for this one, we'll be reading this on a future episode. So stay tuned to the end of the episode because we'll be sharing this poll.
Exactly. I mean, these polls are a way for you all to let us know who you are.
Yeah.
We want to know you. We get your letters, we get your reviews, but we want to know you. We want to know the audience. And so participate in our polls over on Spotify. All right. Michelle,
Yes.
let's get into this. So the phrase of the day again is on
On
brand. That's
brand.
on brand, right?
Yeah.
Um Tell me about this phrase. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, so to go back to actual brands a little bit, I mean, when you
Mhm.
think of a brand, you think of what is typical to that brand. So, like Nikes, the swoosh, right? Air
Mhm.
Jordans, cool sneakers, that they have athletic gear. So you think
Yeah.
what's for that brand? iPhone. What do you think of
Mhm.
iPhone?
Oh my gosh, sleek, expensive, techy, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Sexy. iOS was designed to be sexy, right? When
Mhm.
technology at that time was very clunky and nerdy, and iPhone came in, so we're going to make the phone sexy, right? So
Mhm.
that's what it is. It's become more mainstream now, so that's changing. Fox
Yeah.
News, we think conservative. Other news outlets like MSNBC, we think liberal. So many things have a brand. They have an underlying meaning, right?
Right, right, right.
Mhm.
So when we say something is on brand, it generally means something fits what is expected of that thing. But
Mhm.
so but when we say on brand, a lot of times we're not actually talking about a brand. We're going to talk about how we use it to discuss a person or maybe an institution.
Yeah.
So in this way it's the same idea. It's basically saying something is typical of something else. It's expected, right?
Yeah, and this is really trendy right now. So I'm super
Yes.
excited that we're teaching this today because you're right, Michelle. When we say that's on brand, we're not talking about brands at all. So let's take this
No.
idea of brands and kind of get rid of it and redefine what on brand
Exactly.
means
On
here, right?
brand. All
So,
right.
mhm.
I'll do the first one because this is me.
Yeah.
All
for
right.
sure.
Here's an example. I was up until 1 a.m. last night. Pretty on brand for me.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
totally true.
right. And so we use this maybe to describe ourselves. It's often in a kind of facetious way to make fun of someone, poke fun
Right.
at someone when they do something sort of silly, right? But it's
Yeah.
typical of them. You're having fun with them. My brother
Right.
was late again for our lunch, so on brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So what does that mean? So by saying
hmm
that, what are you saying?
You're basically saying, "Oh, we made plans to have lunch, and he was late, and that's what he does." And so,
Right. It's
uh,
expected.
yeah, it's expected. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Lindsay, is there anything that's on brand for you, would you say?
Yeah. Well, I think the way I think is a little bit of a little it doesn't make any sense because I think big picture, I get excited about big ideas. And most people, when they think that way, they're able to not worry about details. But what I also do is I micromanage details and obsess over details. So I get stuck in the middle of everything. That's really on brand. Come up with a
Oh.
big idea and then I have to do every little detail to make sure it's all right.
Ah,
Very on brand.
okay.
Very hard way
Very
to
on
think.
brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, tough. I mean, so for me, I would say the Michelle brand. It's,
Yeah.
late nights,
Mhm.
stuff falling out of my purse all the time, right? Just
Oh,
actually
yes.
just the other day, Dan was making fun of me. He said, "No matter how big your bag is, you find a way to always be walking around with, like, the wire of your phone charger hanging out or, like, a laptop just, like, swinging in the wind or, like, you know." He said, "Always, no matter how big the bag is, there's always something falling out of it," and that's definitely on brand for me. Also, unfortunately, I'm terrible at responding to text messages, terrible. So
Yes,
I'm
that's
worried that that's actually becoming on brand for me, and that's one of the things that I don't wanna be part of my brand. So definitely number 6.
yes. Oh my gosh, it's so true. We're so similar, in some
Yeah,
ways,
real.
Michelle, because when it's so funny, when my partner and I first started dating in 2016,
Yeah.
my partner tells me now that, they were trying to get in touch with me, and my phone was on silent for 2 years, and I didn't or on, like, do not disturb is what it was, and so they would have to call 2 or 3 times, and I would see all these missed calls, like, hours later, be like, "Geez, this person is really coming after me,
Oh.
really pursuing me." you know? And yeah, I'm also a little aloof when it comes
Yeah.
to being in touch, which is not the best thing. I'll
Yeah.
read a text message and then I'll forget about it. It'll go down, 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 down.
Oh,
And then a week later, I'll be
oh
like, oh
my
my gosh,
god.
that person texted me a week ago.
I'm
And
the same. I'm the same. I just yesterday, this like sometimes I actually didn't see it. Like yesterday I was just scrolling and I was like, "Oh my god, I actually didn't see that this person texted me." But a lot of the times I'll see it in my head, I'll respond, but I'm
yeah,
doing something, right?
exactly.
And then you
Exactly.
realize, "Oh my gosh." And then do you just kind of sometimes I'll still then I feel awkward, so I'll avoid it even more. Do you
Yeah.
ever do
Well,
that?
no,
Oh,
usually it's an emergency and my heart sinks. I think, oh my gosh, they texted a week ago. I have to get back to them. So I'll
that's
go and write them back. But yeah, I mean, clearly for our listeners, the takeaway is do not try to text either of us. You'll never hear back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. And I notice with Dan, whenever he gets a text message, he responds right away. I mean, right
Yeah.
away. He's so good. Like,
Yeah.
but at the same time, sometimes I think I'm being more present by not responding right away. So I'm like
Yeah.
living in the moment. I don't
hmm
stop just to respond right away to everything.
hmm
So
The
interesting.
yeah, no, I totally get that. I love it. So that is kind of a great that's kind of the zone of what we're talking about, the
Yeah.
material we use when we say something's on brand. Someone does something a little absent-minded, a little silly, the little quirks about people that we love,
Yeah.
or that
Right.
are
Yeah.
annoying that we highlight, right?
Yes.
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 Okay, Michelle. So, what else would I mean, what are some other ways, other things we might say if we want to get at this
Right.
topic in other? I personally love just saying on brand, but
Yeah,
obviously we
me
do
too.
other things. So, what could we say?
Yeah. Well, I just also wanted to highlight that it can be used in a teasing way. So, right. So, Dan saying to me, "Oh, you have stuff falling out of your bag." Like, I was just cracking up. I thought that was the funniest thing. And
Yeah.
so he could say, "Oh my gosh, totally on brand," right? He
Yeah.
could just, I could imagine if I'm walking to meet him somewhere and I just have my bag
Mhm.
and the things are falling out of it, I could just see him laughing and saying, "Oh, okay, totally on brand for you. Here
Yeah.
you are," right? But again, you don't want to insult someone.
Mhm.
So,
Right.
and it also depends. Like, how good is someone's sense of humor about themselves? Are they open to kind of
Yes.
being teased like this about, because really when you use it like this, you're picking up on patterns about someone, showing
Patterns,
that you're
quirks.
observing them,
Mhm.
their quirks, like Lindsay
Yeah.
said. So like you could hurt them. So you
You
got to
could
be
hurt them.
careful.
But I think most of the time, if you know them well enough that you've picked up on these quirks, these patterns, that you're probably
True.
close enough that they won't be
True.
offended, but you do want to be careful. Tread lightly at first, right?
Tread
Tread lightly.
lightly.
Yes.
All right. But
Yes.
so something else you could say is typical. So you
Mhm.
could say it's pretty typical of Ron to leave his phone in the car.
Mhm. Or in line with. So, oh man, she canceled. That's in line with what she usually does. Yeah. Right? Or that's right in line with. Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Or sounds like, and then the person. So,
Yeah.
oh, don't tell me she's actually going skydiving. Sounds just like Jackie.
Yeah. I mean, these are fine. They're a little more plain to me, right? Compared
Yeah.
to on brand. So I want to encourage our listeners to try this. You know, wait for the moment, make sure it's someone you're close to, and
Right.
then give it a try. Michelle, do you think, broadly speaking, is it fair to assume things about, because that is a bit of what we're doing here, assuming things about people, putting people
Mhm.
into the category of, oh yeah, this person tends to do this thing. Um,
Yeah, and right, and at what point does something become on brand? I mean, I've been with Dan for 13 years, so I think
yeah.
it's okay for him to start to point out things are on brand.
Yeah.
If a newer friend, because if somebody I'm just kind of getting to know or just know for a little while, if they started, I would kind of feel bad, like I was being teased
Yeah.
or a little embarrassed, right?
Yeah,
So you
it's
have to think about your relationship with that person, and can they, I can take a joke. I'm very self-deprecating, so it's totally fine. But I don't know. I just feel like you have to get to that comfort level with someone.
absolutely. Well, I think that's normal in human relationships. We kind of buy that trust over time, not buy it, but we gain it over time, right? Through spending raw time with the person,
Right.
and then they become closer to us, and we kind of we get that, I don't know, we build that trust. So there has to be some trust between the two parties for
Right.
someone to use this phrase a bit, right? Love that.
Right.
Yes.
So,
Mhm.
all right. So let's give, before we get into our role play, we want to give you guys that poll that's going to be on Spotify.
Yes.
So we were talking about sneakers at first, Lindsay. And so we want to know from you guys, which of these is your favorite sneaker brand? So you can find this on Spotify. Is it Nike, Adidas, New Balance, or Converse? Choose
Nice.
one.
Choose one, no other options. All
No
right,
other
love it.
option.
All right, guys, go ahead and vote in that poll. We love getting to know you around all sorts of questions. So go over to Spotify and participate. So let's do a role play, Michelle, shall we?
All right, here we are. We're waiting for our friend at lunch.
Okay, here we go. So she just called and said she's running late.
Yep, pretty on brand.
I know, sounds like Paula to me.
Maybe we should say something.
It's typical Paula. She's not going to change.
Yeah, I guess it's in line with how she's always been.
Yeah. So this kind of shows you a bit of a more negative angle on it.
Mhm.
The way I like to use on brand is kind of more fun, teasing, the quirks.
Mhm,
Again,
mhm,
quirks are what make people beautiful and wonderful and
mhm.
make us love them, right? And
Right,
so
right,
I would try to use it around highlighting quirks about people that are
right.
lovable quirks, right? But yeah,
Lovable.
sometimes we use this more in the edgy way of, yeah, she's always late. It's on brand. Okay, let's just hang out and wait, right? Um,
Exactly. Yep.
yeah,
Yeah. Giving
yeah,
you all sides of this. So yeah, you
yeah.
said she's running late, and I said, "Yep, pretty on brand," which is something a lot of times we might use it in this way, like, "Oh, that's on brand, pretty
Yep.
on brand, sounds to be on brand." Right?
Mhm.
Sounds on brand.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. And I say, I know, sounds like Paula to me, right?
Paula.
Yeah. You don't want
And
that to be your
then
brand. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that's right. And then I said, maybe we should say something. And you said, it's typical Paula. She's not going to change. So sometimes people just, it's in them. You're not going to get them to change. So you either deal with it and you accept it, or, maybe Paula doesn't get invited to lunch next time. I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's true. It's true. Certain things are just really ingrained, the way we are
Mhm.
sometimes. And then you said, yeah, it's in line with how she's always been, right? So it
Mhm.
just means that maybe the other two friends are going to meet early and have a drink and have fun and connect, and then Paula will
Yeah.
come, and it's okay.
Whenever
It's
Paula
hard.
comes.
I struggle with lateness. It's hard to know how to work through that. I think it works if there are two friends waiting for a third, right? Because you can have
Yeah.
that drink and enjoy a moment together. But if you're waiting on the sidewalk outside the restaurant and the person's making you wait for 15, 20, 25 minutes, then I
Mhm.
struggle to say, hey, let's hang out again next week, because
Yeah.
that's awkward, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And you can kind of feel a little irritated at first when they arrive, like,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
takes you a minute to warm up. So, yeah,
Well,
that can
yeah,
happen.
that's another episode for another
Yes,
day, because there's lots of
exactly.
cultural stuff in there too, right? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yes. Okay. Guys, go over to episode 2401, how to be a more interesting storyteller in English. I love telling stories. I love how important storytelling is in connection. So go check out that episode. Okay. Good.
Absolutely. All right. Well, takeaway. Consider, what is your brand?
Yeah, think about, yeah, that could be the thing to do. What would people say is on brand for you? What are the
Yeah.
quirky, wonderful things about you that are not, because no one's perfect. No one does everything perfectly. And what is perfect, anyways, right? Of course,
Right.
we don't
Right.
believe in perfection over here.
That's right.
And so, what are the lovable things about you that you do that are quirky, that a good friend might say, yeah, that's on brand, but we love that person anyways, right?
Yes. Yes. What are the lovable quirks about people? I love that.
Yeah. All right, Michelle. We'll see you back here very soon. Guys, hit the follow button and be sure to participate in our poll for today. Good.
All right. Bye, guys.
Okay. Bye bye.